Oh, it's going to be a fun one tonight. It is May the 4th. It's May the 4th be with you, an A2D radio celebration right now.
Oh my God!
I'm embarrassed!
You're flying!
Welcome in. It's almost time.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. No, it is not Saturday night. Do not adjust your dial, your calendar, or your watch. It is Thursday night, May the 4th, and it is our annual A2D Star Wars Celebration. I am the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. I am the one they call Ritz. Joining me as he does each and every Saturday night is the mayor of Toasty Town himself, Butters.
All down to the butters.
Yeah, shut up. Over this way is going to be Jedi Master Chux, host of Birds of a Feather. Right below us, we have Mr. Pete Evans, co-host of Birds of a Feather, and also a member of the Lazy Booking staff here at A2D Radio. And diagonally from me, Birds of a Feather co-host, and May the 4th be with you, Star Wars Celebration virgin Pete Young.
Never forget your first.
No, you do not. Gentlemen, we're going to have some fun tonight, but before we do that, we have to pay some bills. Tonight, our show is brought to you by our friends at Alonzi Travel. Alonzi Travel specializes in creating the vacation of your dreams at Disney, Universal, or wherever your heart calls you. Let their talented team of travel experts, including yours truly, create a custom vacation for you without any of the stress. Alonzi on over to alonzi-travel.com/take the trip to get in touch with myself, Mr. Chux, or one of the other talented travel agents at Alonzi, and let us start planning your next stress-free vacation as early as tonight. So, gentlemen, normally we do this show right around the 4th of July. It always seems to pan out that way. It's a lull in the wrestling world. It's a lull in the NFL world. It's a lull in the sports world altogether because none of us really care about baseball.
Hell yeah.
That hurts.
You're fine. You'll live.
That's the top. That's the upper people, Pete. That's not me and you. That's them up there.
It's okay.
That's them up
This
there.
is why you and me need our own show.
But
peas in a pie.
About 3 weeks ago, I texted Chux and I said, hey, do you realize what day May the 4th is? And there was that moment of pause, and then it was, oh my God, it's a Thursday. And so we came up with the idea to finally be able to do this show on May the 4th. Yes, it's a week removed from the draft. Yes, these three have a lot to talk about when it comes around the NFL and the draft and the Eagles picks. And they're going to do all that next week. But tonight, we're going to talk Star Wars. So, our topic of conversation tonight, brought to you by our friends at Baggio's Bread, located in Mount Laurel, New Jersey, home of the best stuffed breads, tomato pie sandwiches, cutlets, and meatballs. Mention A2D Radio for 10% off your in-store purchase. Season 3 of The Mandolorian was the best of the series so far. Agree, disagree. Just for my own amusement, I'm going to throw this over to Pete Young. Let him start things off tonight because I feel like in my heart of hearts, I'm going to not like what he has to say based on what happened in the green room. So, Pete, take it away.
So I actually do like The Mandalorian. I think it's a lot of fun. They actually have one of my favorite actors is actually in it from Justified.
And that is...
I think he's the guy who found Boba Fett's armor in season 1, I think.
Okay, I know who you're talking about. The sheriff dude.
Captain Sexy, as I like to call him.
Dustin Mel.
No, there's not. So the funniest thing is that they get recognized for each other all the time.
I know. I did it on purpose.
One of my favorite. It's one of my favorite stories. His picture, Josh Duhamel's picture, is on on his wall at his house. It's pretty funny. But I've only seen a little bit of Mandalorian season 3. What I saw, I did enjoy. I know I suck. Okay, it's
How
not.
did you not watch season 3 of The Mandalorian?
I just haven't had a chance to finish it yet.
So how far along are you? I guess is my question.
I watched like 20, 30 minutes of the first episode.
Okay.
Jesus.
Moving on, because this is gonna be so much fun tonight. What about you, buddy? Maybe you can redeem your fellow Pete there.
First and foremost, I'm gonna let that was ever call me buddy again. I will fly to Texas and Mace Windu this boot in your ass. Okay.
Hey, I'm okay with that.
Pause. God.
No, because it just gets you out here to Texas.
That's
and
true.
I've been asking you assholes to come visit for, I don't know, 6 years. So
6 years.
mhm.
I would probably walk into Buc-ee's and just pop a cop and then just be there. No, to the poll. You said it's the best season of Mando. From the standpoint of, I mean, it had everything. You had action, you had lore, you had storytelling, you had Grogu advance. I don't know. PY hasn't watched it. My fellow P in the pod, so he hasn't watched it. So I don't want to give away too many.
Dude,
spoilers.
I'm not that guy. I'll never be that guy who's upset at spoilers.
Okay. So I mean, from the expansion of Katie Sackhoff's I'm sorry, dinner is the reflux is real. The expansion of Katie Sackhoff's character, Mando's character, seeing Carl. Say it again.
She's getting a spinoff, isn't she?
Is she? I didn't hear that.
I swear I heard someone talking.
I don't think so. I don't think she is.
And then how
Now,
they bounced
could
around.
I see it coming down the pipeline? Absolutely.
Right. So, like, for me, this was the first season where it really was. It wasn't about the Republic. It wasn't about the Empire. It was literally about the Mandalorians, Mando, the whole season. So, from that standpoint, the title character, the title word really took the forefront of this whole season, and they expanded on what the Mandalorians are, from Mando being an individual and the Mandalorian the people. You know what I mean? From all walks. It showed unity within the race of the Mandalorians, you know what I mean? Within the people from the Mandalorian planet. All colors, all creeds, helmet, non-helmet. And then when you had the younglings, I mean, from everything, I think it was it the second episode? When the alligator thing came up out the water, boy, and then you had the little boy get stolen by the pterodactyl T-Rex looking motherfucker thing.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? Like, bro, what? How? Why? Like, I'd have been like, yo, why we choose to land here? You see all this? It's death at every corner out this bitch. Like this, I understand we Mandalorians and shit, but God, like we can fight, but bro, listen, like, not this. You know, you in the cave, you're gonna have a centipede that's gonna be like 100 feet long. But I agree to the poll just from that standpoint of, yeah. What up, Marshall? Let's know we're not talking sports tonight. This is May the 4th. For all our regulars, if you want to rock with us,
much confused people tonight.
This is no huddle talk the whole time.
Yeah.
It's Star Wars May the 4th. I literally thought about this like an hour ago. I was like, maybe we should have put a blast out there, the little blurb earlier, that this is the way this show is going tonight.
Weren't you guys promoting this?
Several weeks.
Yeah, but I mean, like, actually something to
Were
put on
we?
social.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Oh my God. This is how I know you don't listen, because I've been talking about it during the show.
Who didn't know it was tonight?
I mean, I knew it was tonight, but I'm just saying, like,
Oh God.
telling me other people in the group does not mean you're promoting.
No, I've been plugging the show during Birds of a Feather for the past several weeks. I've been oh my God.
Excuse me. There's only one thing I've been focused on in the last 2 weeks. His name is Jalen Carter, okay?
Oh my God.
Dead taxes and Pete not being prepared. That's the best comment Jinx ever had. That's the best
Always
comment
prepare.
ever.
Oh my god, I can't.
All right, so I think Chuck's word to you, unless Pete, you had more to say.
Nah. I mean, that's it for the poll question. I'll leave it at that to give everybody their just time.
I'm right there. I'm right there with him.
Yeah, like you can be this and also be the Force. Like there's
100%.
nothing wrong.
That's
with
my
that.
dad. My dad is a huge Star Wars fan, and but ironically, he's a bigger Star Trek fan. He told my mother to wait 5 more minutes so he could finish watching The Wrath of Khan while I was being born. So that's how big of a Star Wars. Honey, just wait 5 more minutes. Khan's about to blow up. Just come on.
Though, I did say earlier, I was talking to somebody at work. I said, if you take out the Force and lightsabers, you have Star Trek.
Basically,
Just a poor man's Star Trek because all their ships are broken down and beaten to shit.
Oh my god.
Listen, Martian, I'll agree with you on this, and this may take. I will say Star Wars, the movies, all right, the Star Trek movies that have come out in the last 10 years have shit all over any Star Wars movie that has been released. The Chris Pine Star Trek movies, those movies alone are better than any Star Wars movie.
One sucked.
The first one is really good. 2 and 3 are like
I'm talking about better than Star Wars.
I understand that as someone who's watched all of them. Like
okay.
I watched them too. Third one, I didn't like the third one. The second one and the first one I thought were really good.
Yeah, Rich, this is how this happens. You do not like this shit does not fit the criteria
so
like lazy booking on Saturday at all.
He goes, this is how do we get so far off topic? I just looked at him and was like, this is us going off the rails. Just not
this is a Tuesday for us. Like we'll go a 20-minute tangent off topic and somebody has to like bring us back and we're like, what the hell are we talking about?
Disney during a match like 2 pay-per-views ago.
Yeah,
Star Wars Day, and all of a sudden the fucking rabbit hole pops up and says, let's do Star Trek for 5 minutes.
Which might be our next Star Wars show, Star Wars versus Star Trek.
You two need to get closer together and share the mic.
Yeah,
dude, I can't hear him. Like
you need to move closer like you normally are.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Smart
You
ass.
hear your beautiful voice.
Also, tell me about your cell phone plan.
I also think it's kind of sacrilegious that Butters did wear a Ninja Turtles t-shirt instead of like if you want to wear a character shirt today, it had to be Star Wars. That's why I had the black shirt because I couldn't find my shit.
Because I wore my Star Wars shirt to work, got it all sweaty, and had to go take a shower and could not.
Okay, well then turn that shirt inside out.
I appreciate the shower bit, so I'm cool here with him wearing a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles shirt. I'm fine with that. But Chucks, agree or disagree?
So first off, I representing Star Wars Visions season 2 out today. I didn't get a chance to watch any of it yet, but I will. So for everyone who was a fan of the first season, I am so hyped, so excited for that. Second shout out real quick. My wife got me this awesome X-Wing Loungefly bag yesterday for my birthday. So I've been wearing this all day today. This thing is awesome.
You've been a 37-year-old man walking around with that backpack.
Hell yes.
Hey,
this had a Lunchable and a juice box in that bitch.
Stop.
No,
this is a perfect time for Chucks to plug Disney Chucks and just move on.
Yes.
Disney Chucks is a whole different person.
He's a 37-year-old man with a child and a woman who openly sleeps with him. He can do whatever the hell he wants. Okay, like wear the bag, go full cosplay, come out in like an X-wing suit. Who gives a shit? Like you're living the dream, man. So like who cares?
Oh shit.
Oh god.
15 minutes in, bro. Not even 15 minutes in.
Stop the show.
Is that trap of the week?
That's a show. That's awesome.
That may be.
Anyway,
timestamp that. It was like 13:45.
Anyways, to the poll question, and this might surprise some people because I've been talking about it with friends and to anyone else that's like, watching Mando. Like if you are, and I don't mean this in a disrespectful way. It's just how it is.
But
there are those fans that watched Mandalorian and they're not huge Star Wars fans. They just watch the Mandalorian because it's it's a series. It's out there on Disney Plus. So they're more like the casual Star Wars fan. I mean, they never watch Rebels, they've never watched Clone Wars and all that, and so they see this third season and how the storyline kind of shifts. It's a different type of story arc for the character and all that. And I totally could understand this season not being for them. And that kind of like steering them or not their cup of tea because they're like, this isn't what we signed up for, quote unquote. You know what I mean? So I totally understand that. But I think for those of us who are diehard Star Wars fans who have watched Rebels and Clone Wars, who have been have been looking for the storyline to be told of the Mandalorians as a whole, the Mandalorian culture, what happened to their system. Like we've been told about, everything that happened that the Empire did to their home planet. We've been told about their history, but we've never seen it. We've never really seen any of that. And as big as Star Wars is with the Jedi, I think that the diehards are the only ones that really know, hey, the Mandalorians are right there with them as a culture. Like, they are the longtime rivals of the Jedi. They go toe-to-toe with them. And their story and everything is just as interesting, as enticing as the whole Jedi storyline, too. So being able to see and integrate a little bit of the history and moving forward with the society, Mandalorian society, and being able to plug in Din with that storyline and how he falls into that, and Grogu, and and then obviously, no, I can't remember her name. Katie Sackhoff's character.
I did the same thing, bro. I
can't remember her name. I'm drawing a blank.
Bo-Katan.
Thank you. Seeing how we've known her since Clone Wars and since Rebels, and we see her develop and progress here and do what she needs to do for Mandalore, reuniting them. I think it's a huge, huge season in terms of building the lore further, advancing the storyline of the greater, Star Wars universe beyond Episode 6. And I think for that reason, I'm going to agree to the poll because it goes beyond just Din Djarin. It goes beyond just Grogu. It's when you talk about the title of the series, The Mandalorian, you kind of want to know, where does he fit into that culture? Now we kind of have that answer to that whole thing. It doesn't matter if he took a little bit of a back seat, because I felt like they balanced it really well in terms of still having him kind of be the main character, but share the screen with Bo-Katan and all the rest of the Mandalorians that are trying to get their homeworld back. So I agree to the poll. I thought it was great. I thought it was a great season. I loved, outside of maybe like 2 episodes, I thought every episode was captivating. So, season 3 was awesome.
Butters. Yo. Motherfucker.
I'm going to agree to the poll. I think between the storyline progression, character progression, we got a whole lot more in this season than past seasons. Introduction of, a lot of the new characters, more backfiller on the Mandalorians in general. Just a whole lot of better stuff this season than, in my opinion, than some of the past seasons.
So I love what Pete said. I'm sorry, Pete Evans, when he said that we actually got oh my God, what did he say?
You're not even 30 yet, bro.
No,
you already brain fog already?
I am 30. Hold on, I am 30.
I didn't know you were 30. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You still look like you're 16.
It was also like 20 minutes ago, and Chuck's ran on a rant, and we ran off the rails, and like your thing was forever ago. But everybody hit great points, other than Pete Young, who just exists at this point so far.
Yeah.
Everybody
He'll
hit
contribute later in the show.
In the sense of, we got a backstory to Mandalore. We got an extension of Bo-Katan. We went from seeing her in the later seasons of Star Wars, Clone Wars. We saw her. I don't think we saw her in Rebels. she comes back here in Mandalorian, and we really got a progression of her character over the last season. I'll say season and a half, right? Because I don't think she was very, very prominent in the first season. She was there, but she wasn't. It was more that back half of season 2 and all of season 3 that she was right there in the thick of it. And she fulfilled her prophecy, her destiny, to reunite Mandalore under the House of Bo-Katan, of House of Kreese. I think we saw, and I think somebody brought it up. I don't remember who. I think we saw a backdoor, kind of an opportunity for a backdoor pilot with Bo-Katan and everybody on Mandalore.
That was PY. I'll give him credit where credit
All
is
right,
due.
so it was PY. So credits goes to him there. We definitely saw that backstory and that opportunity to build and grow with the Mandalorian lore. But what made me so mad about this season, it had the worst season finale ending scene. Like, it left me wanting nothing more from the Mandalorian for like the next year, the next season, right? Like, you think about at the end of season 1, they had very nice. Yeah, at the end of season 1, they had taken Grogu. Right? At the end of season 2, Grogu leaves with Luke. And everybody, you know, we know about Bo-Katan and her people, and everybody's kind of going off on their own way. At the end of season 3, Mandalore is reunited, and Mando has decided to retire on a planet with his small little child that's playing with frogs. Yes, we know that he does say, hey, I'm going to, you know, help you guys, help the Rangers and everything like that, kind of off to the side. But it's a scene, blink and miss it kind of scene. Right, if you're not paying attention, all the action's done. There's no payoff, no nothing. But it every single week it held you and it said, where are they going with this? What's the end game here? I thought that the Moff Gideon thing, being in Mandalore and still having his people spread throughout, like still having his connections, was the best thing in Star Wars of the last 10, 15 years. The best reveal, the best, oh my God, they actually did that he was using Mandalore. Because Mandalore as a whole is a character in this.
Yep.
Because we saw it in Clone Wars. We saw it in Rebels. We knew what happened in Rebels with Sabine and how they attacked the planet and they bombarded everything. And now here we are years later. Mandalore's still not back. Mandalore developed as well. So it was a pinnacle and it fell from grace. You know, to Chuck's point where they went side by side with the Jedi. You have the Jedi as probably the most respected force in the galaxy, and the Mandalorians is arguably the most feared. Because if they show up knocking on your door, you're screwed.
Just look at to expound on that point. You look at the last fight. The destroyers, like they literally were like 20 deep and said, let's go take back our planet.
Yeah. like I'm not worried. Are you worried? No, cool. Let's go.
Yeah. And everybody else, it's 1,000 other people. It's 1,000 fighters against them. They're shitless. They're scared shitless.
Yeah.
They know what's coming their way.
And the fact, like, and I don't know if it's a testament to how overpowered a Mandalorian truly is, or just how underpowered any Imperial enemy force in Star Wars ever will be. The fact that 20 people rolled through a platoon of supposedly the most badass versions of stormtroopers on the planet in the galaxy. I'm sorry. Like, what? I have problems with a lot of things. So I'll agree with the caveat that the ending scene sucked.
Okay.
That's fair. I think what because I will say this: season 2's finale was probably the best episode of the Mandalorian there is. I mean, does much of it weigh on the reveal of Luke Skywalker? Yes, but, I mean,
100% it does.
but there's also the fight scene where Din is fighting, Gideon with his, trying to get the Darksaber, which I will say one of my things I didn't like is that Gideon destroyed the Darksaber, and the Darksaber is one of my favorite items in all of Star Wars lore, and the fact that it is destroyed, it's kind of like, well, that effing sucks. Like that really sucks.
And he did it so nonchalantly too, like it was no.
Yeah, there was nothing. So like that kind of sucks for it not to be there anymore. But I totally get what you're saying. I think that it's kind of like I going into it, I thought there was going to be a huge twist. I thought there was going to be like someone in the Mandalorian unit was going to be revealed as like a double crosser. Like I thought
Armorer.
The armorer I thought was going to double cross everyone. So I was like waiting for it. It never happened, and I was like, wait. And even when like they reopened the forge, I was like waiting for it, and it never happened. I'm like, okay, I think we're in the clear now. I think we're okay. And even they didn't what's the sigil, the creature, the sigil,
The something source.
yeah,
Mythosaur.
The Mythosaur didn't even like come up from like the thing. So like I like building that and then not really. I think to me that's probably one of the biggest disappointments is, hey, she saw an actual freaking Mythosaur and it didn't really amount to anything other than the fact that she took it as a sign, and it took it as a sign that she was supposed to unite.
But I think that's the point, right? Let's take that a step further. Bo-Katan saw the Mythosaur, and no one else did. It didn't come up. It didn't nothing, right? The Mythosaur sensed that the fires of Mandalore were burning once again. The armorer, legend told of the one who will see the Mythosaur will be the one to unite the people. Essentially, is what played out there. Not everybody's going to see it, right? You can take it on a biblical route, you can take it on whatever, but
which is why I feel like destroying the Darksaber was probably one of the greatest things they did, because I feel like that right there, the Darksaber was a crutch for them to use to try to unite Mandalore. And by destroying it, by having Bo see the Mythosaur, by having her unite the people truly without the Darksaber,
it meant she was truly the one to do it. Because
exactly.
it's almost like the Mandalorian culture is, as long as I hold this weapon, I am in power.
Yeah.
Right? It's medieval, right? Which there are a lot of, you can say a lot of the Mandalorian culture is a very medieval culture, but it's also very barbaric. And they're not really all that barbaric, right? They're very sophisticated in that. So getting rid of the Darksaber, while yes, it is a magnificent weapon, it's beautiful. I love that it actually truly does look like a sword and not like a glow stick with a hilt when it's all said and done. So I like that aspect of it, but it needed to go. Because many people have wielded it. From our initial introduction to it in Clone Wars. Many have wielded it. Nobody's done squat with it. Get rid of it. It was a plot device.
Yeah, and I think those are good points. I think that's a fair. I just love the Darksaber and I hate seeing it destroyed. That's all.
And that's fair. I'll give you that. That's okay.
Yeah. No, but that's a good point. Like with the Mythosaur, not not everyone is supposed to see it, so that's fair. But yeah, I think like overall there are things to quabble at, but I still believe that the season did a really good job progressing everything. Now, in terms of like having a backdoor to have a a series or something, standalone with Bo-Katan. I mean, I don't know if they're going to do that because, and we'll get into it in a little bit, but that one of the movies that they're putting together, the Filoni, is putting all the Disney Plus series into one movie. So that movie is supposed to be the culmination of all their storylines into one. So Bo-Katan might be in it or not. I don't know if that was revealed, if she's going to be part of that film or not. But yeah, I mean, she could definitely play a part. I can absolutely see it because you've got Boba Fett, you've got Ahsoka, you've got everyone that's included in the Mandalorian. So it's a lot of characters to put in. It's like right now, it's like they're the Star Wars version of the first Avengers movie, essentially.
And so I think that's a great way to transition into Star Wars Celebration and all the announcements that we got. We might as well kick things off with the 3 new movies that were announced at Star Wars Celebration a few weeks ago. It was announced, obviously, 3 new movies are coming out. One of them will be, as Chuck aforementioned, I'm going to call it the Filoniverse. I think it's not right to call it the Mandoverse. I think it's more Filoni because it's taking all these things that Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau have put together on Disney Plus, and even furthermore, this all started. Let's really call it what it is. This all started with Clone Wars, which was a Dave Filoni product.
Yep.
So take that, and it's taking everything that he's done, wrapping it up in a big little bow, and going, thank you. Now, off of that, Chucks, I will say that I think you could still do a Mandalorian series while that movie's in production or before that movie comes out. Because it's Star Wars. We tell everything out of order anyway. Right? But that is one of the movies. Another movie is going to be... please, somebody feel free to answer me.
Well, I mean, you got
before that, I'm finishing with Ray.
You got Ray's character picking up, trying to rebuild the Jedi,
and then you got Dawn of the Jedi.
Where's my Finn? Where's my Finn movie?
Finn who? That was like one of the biggest swerves ever after that first movie.
You can thank Last Jedi for that one.
All right, so what is the movie? I'm sorry. What's the first movie before?
It's Dawn of the Jedi. That's being made by, I think, directed by James Mangold.
That's really good.
Yeah.
And then you've got the Rey, the sequel to the sequel trilogy, which will involve Rey. That's being directed by Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy.
Yeah, Chinoy.
Yeah. So obviously Filoni's film.
Yeah. So let's talk about, because I've got the timeline right here. Where'd it go? Can I zoom in on this? I can. So the Old Republic, the High Republic, Fall of the Jedi, Reign of the Empire, Rise of the Rebellion, the New Republic, Rise of the First Order. That was the vision for the future of Star Wars films. That was released at Star Wars Celebration.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we're going to dive into the Dawn of the Jedi. A lot of people are saying Old Republic. I don't think they specified it was going to be that far back. I think it's going to be.
They said 1,000 years.
Yeah, and I think Old Republic is 200 years before where we come into the story at with Phantom Menace.
Is that before or after the Darth Bane stuff?
I think Darth Bane
is before. So the Old Republic, if they're going off of Legends, the Jedi already exist in the Old Republic. So Dawn of the Jedi is way before Old Republic. Like it's like the first. It's like technically, if you're talking about Star Wars lore right now, Dawn of the Jedi is the kickoff of everything. And then Darth Bane happens shortly after, and then you've got somewhere down the timeline you've got Old Republic kicking off. But yeah, once Old Republic kicks in, Darth Bane is still long past Sith figure.
Yeah, so I don't want to spend too much time on the older stuff because we really didn't get a whole lot of information on that. I want to take this time to talk about the return of Rey. It was announced that she's going to be starting up the Jedi Order once again. As we last saw Rey, she was on Tatooine burying Luke and Leia's lightsabers, and then she ignited her own yellow light. Was it yellow, right?
Yes.
Yeah, her yellow lightsaber, which we all know is the temple guard. So she was guarding the symbolism there, guarding Luke and Leia's legacy, their sabers, their memory, everything like that. She takes that now, and she's going to start her own Jedi Order. What are our thoughts on that? Obviously, there's a million different ways we could frame this. There's a million different ways we could speculate of bringing in different people. We know Kylo's not going to be around for it. You know, a lot of the main character kids are gone, this, that, and the other thing. So what are our thoughts on bringing Rey back?
I'm fine with it.
I mean, I always liked her character. I always thought she was interesting, and I don't agree with the Mary Sue BS that people like to throw at her. I just think she suffered from a lot, and I mean a lot of rewrites and changes every 20 minutes.
So she essentially got the George Clooney treatment when it comes to Batman.
Right.
No,
That's what you're saying.
I think Clooney was just wrong place, wrong time. You know what I mean? Like, amazing actor, just doesn't work there. Eric Bana is the same way in Bruce when he's Bruce Banner. Amazing actor, just not Hulk. You know what I mean?
So then, what you're saying is, I'm being nice. I'm being nice. I'm being nice.
Do it. Do it.
So you don't think George Clooney was a good Batman?
I don't, Chux, I'm confused. I don't understand what I'm supposed to do. What's going on?
I don't think he's saying George Clooney wasn't a good Batman.
No. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. Well, then
literally what everyone with a pulse is saying.
All right, we're done with him. No, fuck it. Not doing it. He can sit back there. He's in timeout. So Pete, let's go. Pete Evans, let's go to you.
I'm not the only one that does it, Pete.
No. Are you going to be good?
What do you mean good? He sucked as Batman.
Because he had shit writing.
No,
But that-
it just didn't work. It didn't fit. Like, you could have given him
Stop.
good writing and he still would have been weird.
Stop. He was a great Batman.
No, he wasn't.
It was
I mean,
shit
I
writing.
will
Like
say
the
George
1%
Clooney doing
minority
anything
who believes that
physical is beyond
nonsense.
It was shit writing because everybody in the
Stop.
knows that Joel Schumacher sucked. But let's take that.
Val
one
Kilmer
step
was
further.
in a Val Schumacher movie and he was great.
No.
Yes, he was amazing.
How do you guys do a show with him?
Batman
You
Forever-
love Clooney, but you're shitting
hold
on
hold on,
Kilmer?
hold
Are you
on.
kidding me?
Hold on. But the thing is,
Today he was shitting on Kilmer.
Batman and Robin was a whole nother level of camp and horror
Right.
storytelling compared to Batman Forever. So it's like,
There's tons
Val
of people who
Kilmer-
are in bad movies
Kilmer-
and still have good
Kilmer-
performances.
hold on. Kilmer still had more to work with in that storyline than Clooney did in Batman and Robin. Let's be fair. And let's give now, is Clooney my least favorite iteration of Batman? Yes. Did Clooney do a horrible job himself with what he was given? No, I can't say that.
Yes.
Since when has Clooney shown that he's a horrible actor with what he's
I'm
given?
not saying he's a bad actor. He was just bad in that movie. George Clooney himself will tell you he was bad in that movie.
Yeah, because he was given. You can't give him a fair. Like it's your whole Justin Fields thing again.
It has nothing to do with that. It's a bad performance. It has nothing to do with anything.
You can't give him a fair.
What are you talking about? I'm a big George Clooney guy, but like he's bad in that movie. Everyone has a bad movie.
The
That was
movie
his.
is bad. No, okay. I'll put it this way. I because again, I'm somewhere in between. It's my least favorite iteration of Batman. Okay, his iteration of Batman.
We can do, but we can do a whole show on Batman, irregardless.
You did this. This is your fault.
No,
Andy.
you're absolutely right. I didn't think it would go this far. I'll take this one. But here's my point, though, that I'm making, because Pete Young said bad writing, bad producing, and so stop. Well, I'm gonna stop you there, though. Okay, because it fits both, and Daisy Ray, she got the short end of the stick from bad writing, bad producing. Because 8 and 9 were a travesty.
Yes.
7 was good. 7 was solid.
7 was phenomenal.
If you go back, watch the same show we did last year, right?
Talk about it.
We nitpicked the hell out of those movies. But I think that, I will agree with Pete Young, where he says that she got the short end of the stick.
Mm-hmm.
Now, to further that, I am just not a fan of her emotion in these scenes, right? It's up and down, it's not consistent, and where she's supposed to be like overly dramatic, she's just like, oh no. And that's bad directing. Again, it's not her. So if this is a great director, if this is a great writer, if this is a great producer, and Daisy's still the same actress that she was a few years ago, because I haven't seen any of her new stuff, I'll be honest with you.
She hasn't been in much.
So if she's still the same actress, then I think we might be a little bit okay. But this is such a crucial story to tell, because you're essentially saying, all right, I just now want to launch a brand new Star Wars for this generation, a brand new New Hope, a brand new Return of the Jedi Empire,
aka money grab.
Right, it's a money grab, 100% for a new generation, telling a new story. Because now, do whatever you want with it.
Yeah,
be linear, don't be linear, fill in the blanks. Hell, they could tell me this new thing is, because they want to say 15 years after 9.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you have a chance to go back and fill in the 15 years before, after this movie, and it's a cash cow.
I don't have high expectations for the movie simply because from the fact of, like you just said, we have an impression of Rey, and those whatever side of the fence that you're on going into it. Let's be honest, it's harder to tell. It's harder to do a sequel than it is a prequel.
Yep.
Most prequels some are bad, but some are like they're great. You know what I mean? Like, so we already know the Dawn of the Jedi. You have that in books. We haven't seen it on film, but you have something to work with. And you have names. Where in this new, what was it called again? Rey's new movie, whatever it's called.
There's no title to it.
There's no title to it yet.
You can refer to it.
Order.
You can say
this is going to be episode 10.
Yes.
Yeah.
Episode 10. Yeah. It's going to be. They have an opportunity to knock it out the park.
Yep.
But it's going to be more challenging because you're going into it with the first you can't redo a first impression for Rey. Dawn of the Jedi, when you get these characters, obviously the casting, maybe the actors themselves, but the characters themselves, they're going to be the first time we're seeing these people on live screen, outside of just being a text on a book or just being a reference in the story.
But Rey's first impression was episode 7.
Well, I would say first impression. Let me say it's the most recent impression you have.
What people remember.
So I want to follow up on what Pete said, because that's actually a really good point. I don't think it's first impressions that her movie's going to have issues with. It's all the bad taste in their mouth. The Kelly Tran stuff. Everything they switched up with Rey. Everything they did with Finn. Like, that's what people are going to remember when they think of 7 through 9. All the people who got screwed in those movies, and they're just going to be like, do I really want to sit through another 3 of these where they're going to jip my favorite characters at every turn?
And I guess because I'm a wrestling fan, I'm used to this kind of torture.
Yeah, same.
That kind of stuff doesn't bother me. I'm still going to sit down and watch it. No different. We talked about Star Trek at the top of the show, right? Star Trek Beyond was atrocious. Yet if they would have came out with a 4th one, I would have been in the movie theater. Phase 4 of Marvel has borderline sucked. Yet I'm still going to go watch Guardians of the Galaxy.
No, take borderline out of it.
I'm going to see that tomorrow.
It's been so bad. I forgot it's coming out tomorrow.
I didn't know how everybody felt here. The DC movies have all sucked. Yet I'm still gonna go watch Flash in a few weeks.
Oh yeah,
Right?
because
If the fandom is there, and I get where you're going with it, PY, I do. But if the fandom is there, you're still gonna go watch the movie regardless, because for that same reason, they screwed over Finn, they screwed over my favorite characters. Are they gonna screw over this person? Let's go find out, because we're humans and we're psychotic like that.
Yeah,
I want to watch that car crash. That's exactly what it is.
Thank you.
Yeah.
There's the words I was looking for.
And I
Like,
will.
you really want to make me happy. Sorry, Chucks. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Because PY, what he has said originally, like about Rey character, like when episode 7 came out, I thought Rey was a great character. Like she immediately became one of my favorite characters in Star Wars lore, and I was like, the way how they set up 7, there's so much hope for where they can go with 9.
And then 8 and 9 came out.
And then 8 and 9 came out, and it was they crapped the bed. But like I agree with PY. I think people calling her Mary Sue was unfair at the time because we just didn't know yet. Like we didn't know the backstory after 7. Like we knew that all of a sudden she has powers, but what's the reason? So like I thought she didn't get a fair shake in that sense. Like people automatically want to call her Mary Sue. I didn't look like that. I thought there was a new version of Luke, but in a good way. Now that was at the end of 7. After 8 and 9 happened, yeah, they crapped the bed. I get it.
I mean, you think about 7, right, Chucks?
Yeah.
That's probably one of the most iconic scenes in any Star Wars movie, Star Wars, and not the ending, just her and Finn in the cold, right? After I can't. My name is
Kylo.
Harrison Ford's character. Fuck, why can't I remember it?
Han Solo.
Solo. Han Solo's kill. But remember when the saber, the lightsaber is there, and Finn is reaching for it, and you think he's about to get it. That scene where that shit breezes past him and goes into Rey's hands, everybody pop.
Yep, that was amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So from there, then you get 8 and 9, and it's like, but I get what PY is saying too. Like that's not generally her fault. All right, Chucks, I'm good. You pick up where you live.
And I think that like with 9 too, and I said it last year with 9. Like I don't even blame 9 on Abrams. I think he did what he
tried.
He did the best he could to fix 8, and we've got 9. That's what had to happen. So I think all in all, like it's absolutely. I think we all agree. It's absolutely a cash grab. Episode 10 is 100% a cash grab. However, I think that there is hope. A new hope. There is hope that they There's
always hope in Star Wars.
You know what I mean? They do this right and redeem.
Except for the holiday special.
And Chuck is absolutely right. Right. The hope here is that they do this right. They do honor to it. They do it justice, and they take us back to the powerhouse of a franchise that Star Wars is. Right? Because let's be real, they're not gonna let Fast and the Furious outdo them. 1, with the number of movies. 2, with quality of movies.
I don't know how you get 10 movies about cars.
11.
I don't know how you get cars in space and still want people to go see it.
It's about family.
It's about cars. It stopped being about cars after
family.
Dude, I don't even know if it's about family anymore. But that's
always about family.
That's a whole nother bit. But they have an open slate. They have a clean slate to do whatever they want. And we see that now. Again, I call back to Star Trek because Star Trek is in its renaissance right now with Picard and Lower Decks and Strange New Worlds and the 5th season of Discovery is coming out. It's a renaissance of it. And because there's nothing about this time period that they're in. Going forward with Star Wars, we have nothing. We know nothing. Also, yes. We have nothing. We know nothing. So we're able to sit back and go, entertain me.
Yeah.
For 2 hours or 3 hours.
If you dare.
Yeah, right? Ahsoka
Oh, real quick.
Okay.
What I do hope. I don't know if you guys want to pitch into this in terms of like what is on your wish list and like specifically what's on your wish list for that movie. But I really want to see them take a different approach to how, like, I hope Rey, after everything that happened in 8 and 9 in terms of what she learned from Luke and what had happened to the Jedi Scrolls and everything like that. I hope that Rey, when she reinstitutes, and tries to rebuild the Jedi Order, that it's a lot different from what we had back during the Republic. You know what I mean?
Well, it has to be.
Yeah, it has to
Has
be.
no knowledge of it.
But like that's what I'm saying. Like if they literally come out in 10 and they have Rey establish, okay, here's the Council, you're all Jedi Masters, the Jedi Temple, and then you know what I mean? Like I
No
know
love.
that's not what it is. I really hope the structure now is a lot different because you can like everyone said, like there's no groundwork. You can do anything you want. So why reform to the old way? Like do a Jedi Order that's completely different from what is before. Even like I know none of you guys read the High Republic books, but even the High Republic, like the golden age of the Jedi Order, even that is still very similar to what we got, with how the Jedi Order was in Clone Wars. And you need a shakeup. Like you need some type of shakeup to make it more appealing and fresh. So that's on my wish list for 10.
Give me more Qui-Gon Jinn and less Yoda.
Yes. Even though Yoda's awesome.
He is awesome, but like
awesome.
if they just listened to Qui-Gon from the beginning, everything would have been fine.
I think it's more so
this road.
I think it's more so give me less council as a whole and get more individuality to the Jedi.
I mean, I feel like you still need the council. Like even when like Luke has his own council, like it's nowhere near to the dumb stuff that the original one is.
Well, and again, Pete, you're new to these shows. We ripped the council to shreds when we did the original stuff, the prequels and the originals, right? We destroyed them, and so I don't want to reopen that wound. That's for another time. I do want to touch base on Ryan's question here. C-3PO versus Babu Frick and a swarm of Anzelians. Who wins the brawl? Not C-3PO.
Babu Frick.
Feels punch on pussy win that fight.
So I just wanted to touch on that. Let's go to Ahsoka. We know that Ahsoka is coming out fairly soon, and it's going to essentially not pick up directly where Rebels leads off, but we do see a callback to that final scene with Ahsoka finding Sabine, and them going to look for Ezra and Grand Admiral Thrawn, which we saw them lay the groundwork for that in the episode of The Mandalorian last season. Thoughts on Ahsoka after seeing the trailer, after seeing and hearing everything that's kind of been announced? Are we excited for it? Are we not excited for it? Am I going to yell at somebody?
On a scale, on a scale of 1 to 10,
Hold on.
1 being
Not you, him. Chuck, hold on.
1 being asleep and 10 being overjoyed, I'm at probably a 15. Like I am so excited for this movie because Ahsoka is one of my top 2 favorite characters in Star Wars lore. So,
is it a movie or is it a series?
It's a series. Chuck's is
sorry, my bad.
Dumb.
Yeah, my
Butters.
bad.
Butters, go ahead. Move the mic to Butters, please, so we can hear him.
It's Butters. That's me.
You're gonna let him get away with that?
I will call you by your government name, sir. You better speak.
So are you excited for Ahsoka?
Yes, I'm excited for Ahsoka. I dear God, this thing's too far in my fucking face.
Nobody can hear you.
I honestly forgot what I was going to say a while ago.
That's because Chuck's just
Chux ran him over. I knew once you said that question, Chux, because Sabine is in it and Ahsoka's in it was over.
Yeah.
There was no way he was going to be quiet.
So, Pete Young, are you excited for this show?
You even want me to talk because you're just not going to be happy with anything I have to say.
Please say something. Don't be Jake. Open your mouth and use words.
Hey, that man not even here to defend himself.
What's your point? He chose to have family game night, so he's fair game.
Family spend time with each other instead of yell?
Dude, it's a foreign concept.
That's what we do.
I don't understand that. We just yell and scream and tell each other how much we suck.
They spend time with each other.
I mean, we all spend time with Jake and we yell at him.
I understand that rationale.
So,
like a 0 for me, just because I'm not a big fan of the actress. I liked Ahsoka in Clone Wars, but like that's not enough to make me watch for her.
So if you like, all right, I'm gonna be nice. I'm gonna deep dive into this. No, fuck off. If you liked Ahsoka in Clone Wars, did you like her in Rebels?
I did like her in Rebels.
Okay, so then why in God's green earth are you not gonna watch this show?
I don't like.
I can explain because this is your first SOP. PY is very big on not just the characters, but the actors and actresses who play the characters. So if he doesn't like the actress or the actor, that does go into his decision about a character that he's loved. He essentially said he doesn't like Rosario Dawson.
I don't like Rosario Dawson.
Ahsoka, she's actually really good as Ahsoka. I don't know what your problem is with Rosario Dawson.
I don't think she's that great.
But why? But like give examples why.
Well, so what made you? What movie was it? What role was it where the Rosario Dawson?
All her weird stuff behind the scenes with her family just put me off, and I'm like,
Stop! No,
I don't really want to do anything with this person.
No, I would have given you anything else. If you would have come out and said this movie sucked, this role sucked, this music video she was in was horrendous, fine, I would have given you anything. But you want to say the stuff with her family? Shut up.
I don't even know what he's talking about.
I also didn't like her in the Marvel stuff.
I'm sorry. The fact, and you're not the only one. You're not the only person. No.
No, it's not. It's not a cop out. It's my opinion.
You're not the only person that thinks like this. That's fine. That's your opinion. I respect it. You're still dumb. Because at the end of the day, the people that are like, hey, because of their drama with their family, because of their drama with this, because of their drama with that, I'm not going to watch the stuff that they're in.
I mean, one person's not really going to affect anything, so it's all fine.
PY, I don't want to make this about sports real quick.
I'm on a soapbox, so shut your mouth. Okay? The people that are like, I have problems with them as a person. Fuck off. I've been trying to keep it really family related, but fuck off right now. Okay?
Chuck, I think we're going over the F words.
With anything that the McMahon family does. Anybody that watches my show know how much I hate Tony Khan with a fiery burning passion of 1,000 suns.
That's very sad.
I still watch both products. Right? I don't agree with everything that happens, but I still watch the products. Whether you like Rosario Dawson as a person or not, if you like the character, watch the product.
He did say 0, so at some point his eyes may come across it. But PY, I just want to say,
he may change his mind.
The contradictory part about it, all right, so if you didn't like if Jalen Carter smacked the shit out of his mom,
yes,
would you not watch him play on Sundays?
Would I not? I wouldn't cheer for him. I've had plenty of Eagles players who are awful, and I just don't cheer for them. Like they could score, and I won't do anything.
But that's kind of the same thing that Andy's saying. He's not of the sports world, so he can't.
I think there's a lack of consistency here because you're saying that you loved her character in.
No. I didn't say I loved her character. I said I enjoyed her character.
Okay, fine. You really liked her character in the shows. The show Rebels. Did you like the show itself, Rebels?
Yeah, I enjoyed Rebels.
Okay. So if you
like the pitch of his voice.
Wait.
I don't think she's a character that like makes me exactly watch a show. Like she's not a.
PY, let me talk. Jesus Christ. If you like the Rebels, okay, you like the show, you like the storyline where it's going, okay, even if you if you don't like the actress, to say that you're at a 0 for this show doesn't line up, because this show is pretty much an extension of Rebels. It's like the sequel to Rebels. It's continuing that storyline, just with Ahsoka as the lead character. So, like, I would get it if you're like, I'm at like a 4 or I'm at like a 3. That would make sense. But to say it's a 0, I think that's very inconsistent, and you're putting unfair weight on your personal bias on Rosario Dawson than you are on the actual material that's being put out in the show. You're unmuted.
I don't care. I don't have any, nothing I've seen has made me be like, oh man, I really want to watch this show. I'm like, which is fine. Like, not everything is going to be my cup of tea. Like, there's tons of stuff that I love, people hate, and there's tons of stuff I love that people enjoy.
That's 100% fair. But if that's your reasoning, then let that be your reasoning.
Well,
right?
One of my reasonings, yes.
You didn't start off with, next time lead with that one then. Because then the last 5 minutes of this don't happen.
But then Chuck doesn't get to fucking rant.
I just think it's really odd to say that you enjoyed a storyline, and then when that storyline is continued, you're like, no, I'm not gonna. I have zero interest in it because I didn't like the drama this one actress had. Like,
I don't think she's the greatest actress.
To me, that doesn't line up. Like,
I don't think she's the greatest actress. Whatever I've seen of her as Ahsoka is okay, and that's not enough for me to be like, all right, I'm gonna go watch this for 10 hours. It's fine. Like, I'll let other people enjoy it. I don't need to crap on it. Enjoy your show. No reason to be a stick in the mud just because I don't like it.
I would understand even if you're like, nah, Rebels. Like, I would have disagreed, but I think it would be more consistent and make more sense if you didn't like Rebels at all. Therefore, you have zero interest in this. That would make more sense to me. But the fact that you did like Rebels, but have zero interest in this, that's where I'm like,
I just don't. I don't think she's that great of an actress.
But then the actress part, I'm not talking about her as an actress.
Time out. I feel like I gotta be a PY defender here. It's a difference between Rebels with a whole bunch of supporting characters to Ahsoka being the main title character. So when she's the main, no, put your fucking finger down. When she's the main title, you can do whatever you want. Main title character, it's different because Rebels is now Zed, Ezra, Hera. They're just carry-ons with her. To where you forget Ahsoka was already, she had her whole shit in Clone Wars, and then she came on the tail end at Rebels, where you felt like in Rebels, Ahsoka was just a little sprinkle, where everybody else was the main dish. And this, as it's being portrayed right now, is the Rebels are the little sprinkle on top, and Ahsoka is the main dish. So once again, from PY standpoint, if he would have said a 1, maybe say 1, his eyes is going to come across at some point. I get everyone else's point, but I feel like sometimes with PY, he says things, he just doesn't articulate them well. Hence why I need to come in. I feel like I gotta be like I feel like PY is Obama at the podium, and I gotta be the Michael, what's his name? Michael what? The other part
Keegan
of
Michael Key.
Keegan Michael Key. I feel like I gotta be Keegan Michael Key for PY. That's all. I don't know if he truly feels like that, but I can kind of see like if that person is now the main character, the title character. It's just, and I don't like Rosario Dawson and everything either. But my reasons for the whole personal shit, I can give two shits about that.
I don't even think that like she's, when he said like people portray Rosario Dawson as the greatest actress ever, I've never seen that. I've never heard that. I've never believed that. Like I think she's fine. I think she's a good actress. But like again, this goes to the whole thing. Like I get what you're saying. Like I factored in the fact that she is now the main character, the title character. I get that. No, and so like if your interest dropped because of that, if it decreased, perfectly fine. I get it. But the thing is, the main villain, Thrawn, was the biggest villain in Rebels. The whole thing after Rebels was that, okay, what happened to Thrawn? What happened to Ezra?
And
So
I think
there is zero, like none, like to say zero.
I'm just not interested. I don't understand what the problem is.
Wait.
Moving
He
on
didn't
from that
go
for a second.
3 or 4. He went 0. To say you have no curiosity at all.
I'm just
at
not
all about what is going on with Thrawn and what happened with Ezra. Although you really liked Rebels,
I said I liked Rebels. I didn't say I loved it.
Really liked. He said he liked.
Okay,
I liked Rebels. It was fun.
Rebels.
I've seen a good chunk of episodes. I didn't like watch every season of Rebels. Like I liked it if it was on, I'd watch for a little bit. It's fun. But I'm not like, oh man, everything happened in Rebels. I want to see it in live action.
So first of all,
did you watch? How much Rebels did you watch?
I watched like half of the first season, a little bit too. Like, I don't know.
So first of all,
what's the scale of Rebels you would give it? 1 to 10 PY.
Like a solid 7.
Wait, did you finish it?
No, I mean, he's saying no.
Shut the fuck up. Okay, so Pete, what I will say is you should give it a watch, and I'll be the first person to tell you. Rebels was when it first came out. I was like, I'm not watching another damn Star Wars cartoon. I'm not doing it again. Yes, Clone Wars was great, but I'm not doing this. And then probably about 4 or 5 years ago, I was like, you know what? I'm going to watch it. I'm going to give it a shot. And it's a slow start, but that back half, and especially that last season, it's very captivating. And to Chuck's point, that's what fuels the interest in Ahsoka. Not so much from an Ahsoka, because I'm not watching Ahsoka for Ahsoka. There's nothing you can tell me about her story that is going to make me want to watch just Ahsoka. I think what's going to happen here, it's going to be the Mandalorian effect. You're going to have the Mandalorian, or in this case, Ahsoka, and then you're going to have Sabine, Bo-Katan, or in this case, Sabine, kind of being the real one that everybody's watching. And then you have Ezra, who's essentially going to be like Grogu here, and Thrawn like Moff Gideon. That's where the parallels, as far as like when you look at a formula, not necessarily a story or how we get to them, but it's that search. It's to Chuck's point. When Rebels ended, it tied everything up in a wonderful bow, with the exception of what happened to Ezra and Thrawn. Because when we last see them, how they disappear is so like, wait, what just happened? And then when you take that a step further, and we saw the space whales in Mando season 3, you really just sit there and go, okay, I need more on that. I don't care. Look, I love Ahsoka too, right? I have her lightsabers right here. I've got the white kyber crystal in here, right? I thought her story progression from Clone Wars into Rebels was great. But coming out of Rebels, her story was done.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right? She's not a Jedi. We're not going to see her helping Rey rebuild the Order as of now. Right? So, and we know that by the time everything with Luke happens, she's nowhere to be found.
Mm-hmm.
So her story's done. And I didn't like Andor, and I'm going to use this correlation. I know Cassian Andor dies.
Yep.
At the end of all this, at the end of Rogue One, he bites the bullet in the best way possible, and he means nothing to the galaxy. Right? Nobody knows who he is. No, nothing. Unfortunately, Ahsoka, because she leaves the Order right before all hell breaks loose, nobody knows who Ahsoka is, with the exception of Vader and Palpatine. Well, they're both dead. Thrawn, he's missing, and a handful of rebels. And Leia's gone by this point, right? So she don't know who Ahsoka is. Mon Mothma is doing other things. She's probably not going to remember Ahsoka unless you physically saw her. So I'm not worried about that story. I'm worried, and I think this is where Chux is going. And I think, Pete, this is why you're not invested, is because you didn't finish watching Rebels.
Exactly.
Which, again, go ahead.
Have they even really announced when Ahsoka timeline's going to truly be?
No.
Because, yes, they're trying to find Thrawn, but, most of that stuff happened during the Rise of the Empire, correct?
Well, so, no, let's back up. When you see Ahsoka in Mandalorian, she brings up Thrawn. So it's all the same timeline.
Okay.
All the same time, which we know is after the fall of the Empire. Okay? So, again, I think PY should give Rebels a chance. It might change his viewpoint on Ahsoka.
I didn't start watching Rebels till the pandemic because I had nothing to watch. And I didn't want to watch it like he said. It's like, oh, cool. That don't mean anything to me. Didn't want to watch it. Watched all the Clone Wars over again. It was like, you know what? I want something else to watch. Let's watch Rebels. I gave Rebels a chance. Fucking loved it.
Yep. Yeah. And if I had known, PY, that you didn't even finish Rebels, then I'd be like, okay, this makes sense. Now it all makes sense. This is why you don't care about what's going on now, because you just don't know. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that it's just the fact that you don't know. You don't know anything.
You didn't ask.
About it.
You just made assumptions like usual shit stuff. Am I right? Am I right, Pete? Is that not what he did? He made the assumption. He went into the anger mode. He went off, and then he's like, "Oh, I didn't know that. Whoops."
If we're talking about Star Wars and a certain series, we're under the assumption that you came prepared and watched it, not that you didn't.
I didn't know I needed to watch every single Star Wars series ever. I also didn't watch Ewoks. I'm sorry.
I have not watched that.
I didn't watch Ewoks. I haven't watched the holiday special. I'm sorry.
We don't talk about those.
Oh my god!
You don't want to talk about Light Day?
But it makes sense. It makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense. All right.
Anything else Star Wars Celebration wise? Because I feel like, Chuck, everybody's in a fighting mood right now.
I'm fine.
This is PY every Thursday.
Every Thursday is PY.
Like they're just everyone not named Pete is just bullying me, so it's usual.
You're welcome.
If Jake were here, he'd bully me too.
No, Jake wouldn't say more but 2 words.
That's not true.
Jake actually talks.
I agree.
Surprisingly, Jake actually talks when he's calling out PY. It's awesome.
But he shouldn't. He should be on my side. That's the correct side.
Anywho. So, moving on. I feel like this is a great time to start and make your case.
Yes.
So, gentlemen, it's going to be kind of like if you watch Hockey Happy Hour, they have the shootout where they just do rapid fire topics. And it's going to be kind of like fandom court, where we're going to say, all right, make your case for... Oh, Casey wants us to talk about the Andor TV series.
Why?
So, I didn't like it. I gave it a college try.
I didn't watch it yet.
I fully knowing that Cassian Andor doesn't make it off of Rogue One, and he means nothing to the Star Wars lore past that. I got 30 minutes into the first episode, and I said I can't do it. It's just, I read about it. I read what happened throughout the whole series. I get what happened. I mean, the whole season. I get what happens at the end, but I didn't care.
I'll say this. Let me say this. It took us a while to get past the first couple episodes. We waited too. We waited until the series is over, and then we're like, all right, let's start it. We started episode 1, didn't finish it, and then eventually finished it. Went into episode 2, didn't finish it, eventually finished. So I get it. I totally get it. Pete, did you watch Andor? Okay, so I'm the only one to say this. So as someone who totally understands the reluctance to move forward with it, this is what it does offer. It offers a true ground level look at the Star Wars universe, and I mean ground level. I don't mean like Mandalorian, Boba Fett kind of thing. Like those are still like major characters. I'm talking about what Jessica Jones and Luke Cage were to like the whole Marvel universe when they were originally supposed to be part of the MCU. Like that ground level, that's what Andor is. So I don't watch it. What I liked about the series wasn't just so much Andor's character. There are other characters in there, like Mon Mothma's storyline and what she does in there, phenomenal. There are other characters that you learn about on a ground level that are like, wow, this is really, really like this is different. It's a different look at the Star Wars universe. So, if you want something different from Jedi and like huge ships fighting out in space and all of that, like Andor really is different. Now, it might not be everyone's cup of tea. It really might not. And if you never get past the first 2 or 3 episodes, I don't blame you. But if you are able to and appreciate the different outlook on it, I'm telling you, you're going to be very surprised with Andor. I was, because I had low expectations. But it came out, I was like, wow, this is actually pretty damn good. This is pretty damn good.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to say make your case for best character or favorite character, or make your case for favorite weapon, favorite ship, worst character, worst ship, so on and so forth. It's just going to be kind of whatever we want. There is no set guideline to it. And make your case. So, Chux, I'm going to put the spotlight on you and make you start.
It's going to be a little bit of a piggyback off of what we talked about before.
Oh joy!
But I'm going to say why Ahsoka is one of my top 2 favorite characters in the whole Star Wars lore.
No.
got itchy.
No. I want your favorite. I don't want your top 2.
Thank
I
you.
don't want your top 10. No, this
Well,
isn't
it's
Mojo.
It's her and Yoda. It's her
Finally,
and Yoda are tied.
cool.
Like I love both of those characters for different reasons. But I'll tell you why I love Ahsoka is because she is exactly to me what the Force should be about. Okay? Like she is like the epitome, like she shows the example of to be a Force user, not to be a Jedi, not to be a Sith, but to be a Force user for good and to really represent. Like she's the most symbolic version of that we really truly have outside of the Sons of Mortis. That's it. Like so, I think that it sucks she's not in the movies because she's not that major of a character. They haven't played her, but like. If you and I read her novel, there's an Ahsoka novel that I read. So her story and just what she portrays, and then the fact that she also like, and we talked about it last year, but I know for people why he wasn't here, I'll say it again. Like she really has so much influence, and she has so much of an impact on major characters' lives that if she had just been at a different place at a different time, Anakin could have been saved. Ahsoka could have done that. But because she was where she was, Anakin went down the path that he did. She is one of the most underrated, underlying characters that we have in Star Wars lore. But she doesn't fall within the Jedi. She doesn't fall within the Sith. She just follows her own path. And this is part of the reason why I am interested in the series, because I want to see what that path is. I want to continue to learn more about what she does after her life from the Jedi Order. Because the novel
41, she got in bed with the rebels, and now she's going to go search for a blue guy.
I think her character is awesome. Not even just from a storyline perspective, but her fighting style is awesome. The dual lightsaber she's mastered. So, like, I think she is just like the perfect example of what I would love a Jedi character to be. So that's when I think Jedi, I think now of Ahsoka. I don't think of Anakin or Obi-Wan and everything. I think of Ahsoka. That's what I want a Force user and a Jedi to be. That's why she is my favorite character tied with Yoda, because I think Yoda is also a good example, but for different reasons. Yoda has been around so long as the the godfather of everything in Jedi Order, but like also his mistakes have led to the rise of the Empire. But
But his mistakes they're so hard to look past.
No, that's what I said. That's what I mean. Like,
and
they're hard to. It's his ultimate mistake led to one of the biggest downfall of the Jedi, because it took away the Jedi. So I understand that. I think also it was just beyond him, but I won't get too much into Yoda because that'll be for maybe next year. But for Ahsoka, I just think that Ahsoka has turned into my favorite character in all of Star Wars lore because of the reasons. Because I look at her and I think of like, that's what you need to be. That's what Jedi need to be. Is what Ahsoka does.
Pete, either one.
Um,
And it can be anything. It doesn't have to be favorite character.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be
Make
favorite
your case for anything you want Star Wars related.
I think Star Wars missed the boat and not giving Din Djarin the Force. Because if he was tapped into the Force, bitch, none of this shit would be a fucking problem. If he was tapped into the Force, none of this shit would be an issue, bro. That bitch is stone. Like when I see him, like I need somebody to create a GIF or a meme. Brian, if you're listening, Jake, if you're watching, give me Din Djarin walking out, and then when he walks out, all I hear is the glass break and Stone Cold Steam, bitch, and good night. That's all I need.
I think Ryan's available. I can. Excuse me.
Ryan.
That's just more my pet, like my thing. But I will say I make the case, and I don't think this is going to be hard to prove. Star Wars animated is longer lasting than live action.
Yes.
I'll take that a step further. I think Star Wars animated is less flawed and more plot than live action. You get a lot of unnecessary filler scenes, which are supposed to give us character development, but they don't. I don't care that Anakin doesn't like sand, right? I don't care that this is the field of flowers that Padme's mother brought her to. I don't care about any of that, right? But watching, and especially more so for Anakin, watching Anakin's progression through the animated is incredibly crucial because, and again, this is something I was talking about the other day. When you look at the Star Wars movies, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're not talking about 7, 8, and 9. Dear God, we're not talking about 7, 8, and 9. Between 1 and 2, there's a 10-year gap. And we know nothing of that in between. From 2 to 3, because of Clone Wars, we now know what happens there. But we didn't for so long. That's a lovely yawn. We didn't for so long. But then in between 3 and 4 is where Rebels fits in. And that helps build the bridge. Then you get to Rogue One. Rogue One, I think, is the only movie that they've done outside of the original 6 that is a really well done movie and fits in so perfectly. And yes, it's all because of that last scene where it goes directly into A New Hope, but it fits in perfectly, and it almost picks up kind of where Rebels drops off, right? With getting the plan, knowing that this massive weapon's coming, getting the plans for the Death Star and moving forward with it. But then you have everything in between 4, 5, and 6, and there's not a lot of gap between 4, 5, and 6, so it's okay to not have that animated run there. But Pete, no, absolutely, I think I'll pick up Clone Wars before I'll pick up a movie. Mr. Young, make a case, sir.
Where is my Mara Jade show, movie, animated series, anything?
Huh?
She doesn't exist.
I mean, obviously, like in the grand scheme of things, like, yeah, but I'm like, I just want something with her. Like, she's always been like one of my favorite characters. She's a total badass. I love her. I've always enjoyed her dynamic with Luke, and I'm still pissed to this day that they killed her off. Give me something. Like, you can't do an animated series about Star Wars like right after Return of the Jedi. Come on.
What in God damn is you talking about?
Mara Jade. Oh, you never read the Legends books?
Dude, we do this every year. I had the attention span of a mouse.
So do I, and I read them.
I can't.
I didn't. But here's the thing: I didn't read them, but I read up on like the characters in that. So I'm familiar with the character. I didn't read any of like the.
Once a lot of them were deemed non-canon, I said screw it. It didn't matter to me.
But it's Luke's love interest.
Okay.
She's a Jedi.
Look, man.
All right, fair enough.
Look, once your wife tries to murder you, it's for life.
How does Mary feel about that?
It's true.
Nobody thought about that.
Yeah.
4 hours before we went live.
I love the fact that she's not only wanted to murder him, she wanted to murder his daddy too. It's like a twofer.
Mr. Butters.
You're ready to hate me. Yeah, this motherfucker goes with the lightsabers.
Can you give him the mic?
Okay.
There
we
you go.
go.
I think Kylo Ren is the biggest missed opportunity in Star Wars villain.
Oh, please.
I think after episode 1, taking off the mask, taking off the helmet, and then just making him this whiny, crying little bitch. Just, it made him being a villain fell flat for me. You know, I felt like in 7, he could have been a great villain if they had just stuck with the character progression, stuck with him being with the helmet on, with him being an utter badass, expanding a little more on his little group. He could have been a great villain for a new set of movies. Instead, they just dropped the ball.
So
Because they
I
kept
see where you're
changing
going
it.
with this. I don't hate. Here's where I'll argue with you on it. Him not having the mask on in the scene where Han dies is so crucial.
That part is fine. I can understand that being a crucial part. But
Right. And I'd almost have to agree with him that Kylo does fall flat in 8 and 9. He has his redemption arc in 9, and to this day, my favorite scene, and even though it still doesn't a whole lot of make sense to me, but when she passes him the lightsaber
the dyad.
when he's fighting the Knights of Ren,
Mm,
and he just has that almost fourth wall break where he's like,
yeah.
eh. Right? That's amazing.
Because they never expanded on the Knights of Ren with him.
Yep.
Yeah.
they never did.
Like,
Thank
this
you,
is
J.J. Abrams and what's his name? Rian
Who
Johnson.
cares?
Thank you,
Yeah,
Rian Johnson.
his group, his people, like his assassins, so to speak, his
Inquisitors.
exactly. And we got all of 5 seconds with them, and
Yeah, and they weren't even in 8 at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
You have the Red Guard for Supreme Chancellor Snoke, that silly putty wannabe. That's another. That might be. You set yourself up, and again, we call back to bad writing and everything like that for 8 and 9. You set up Kylo and this figure of Supreme Chancellor Snoke to be easily two of the most powerful people in the universe aside from, Luke and Vader and Palpatine and Yoda and even Obi-Wan, right? That you position them so much more powerful for why? What do you do with them? You have Snoke die halfway through 8 in the most bullshit way ever, right? And then Kylo is I've never met somebody with mommy and daddy issues.
Yes.
Speak on it.
Right? Like, Jesus Christ.
No, I think Borders has a good point.
So I have a different viewpoint when it comes to Kyle because I always enjoyed him as a character. Like he's kind of cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs in every sense of the word.
Fair enough.
The mommy and daddy issues, the maybe girlfriend issues, the I want to be leader of everything issues. My thing was always been like, so he's a sociopath in the first one. In the second one, they don't really know what to do with him. Because they do that in the third one too, where they're just like, I'm a good guy, I'm a bad guy, I'm a good guy, I'm a bad guy. No, I'm a good guy for like 2 minutes where I'm cracking jokes. I'm Han Solo's kid. If that's what you wanted to do with him, why didn't you just like make him not turn against Rey at the end of 8 and be like, spend all of 9 kind of building him up, which was Luke's original concept in Return of the Jedi. He wanted to bring Vader back.
So I think to your take there, I think that kind of circles back to what Borders was saying. I think the writing is just makes his story a missed opportunity because I think that his redemption in 9 would have been such a bigger payoff had they built it up better.
Yeah.
Had they laid the groundwork for just a much badder villain, and I don't mean bad as like worse. I mean bad like you got to when villains have a redemption, like, and I'm not bringing this up to be a troll, like in The Last Airbender, right? Prince Zuko, like his redemption arc. Why do we say it's the greatest redemption arc? Because he fell so far back, right? Like he even betrayed Aang and he helped his sister in season 2, right? And 2. So like you see that and you're like, okay, like there's no coming back from him. But he redeems himself eventually, and that arc makes it so much better because he falls so far down. But with Kylo, you never get. He's like here going down, and
he
then
never goes all the way.
He's like he never goes all the way, and I think that again, bad writing, and I think that's I agree with Butters is that like they miss an opportunity to really make him menacing, and if they had done that, the redemption would have been better. Darth Vader, he fell from grace, obviously, and he is in pop culture the baddest villain there is. But he redeemed himself it took all the way till episode 6 for him to redeem himself. But you don't have a clue of that until that moment, though. Like until the very end, until Act 3 of episode 6, you don't have any bit of clue that he's going to turn until then. That's what makes a redemption so good. Is you have to be able to have that character seem almost unredeemable, and then you flip it. If you keep milking them out to where we don't know, then the redemption's not going to pay off.
All right, so I want to get into the conversation of vehicles, and more specifically starships. Chux isn't going to agree with me. I think the Jedi Interceptor is the best starship and the most versatile out of all the ships that we've seen.
The one that's in episode 3.
The one that no, not the pointed one. Not the yellow one that Anakin I can't put it up on the screen here. Is it the one in episode 3?
Yeah, I thought that's the one you're talking about. The one that looks like an interceptor.
Yeah, that one.
The ETA-2 Actus Class Light Interceptor.
Yeah. I can't put it up on the screen for you guys. So if you can.
Now, why would you say that's the most?
So as we see in Clone Wars, it's atmospheric, so they can use it going around. It's not a massive ship by no means, right? It's well armed in its weaponry, but it's also intergalactic. It's able to attach to the hyperspace rings and bolt, right? I thought for the longest time that the X-Wing was probably one of the most atmospheric. I think it's too big, and having to switch your wings into attack position, it's a downfall for me. It's no different than, again, I'll call back to Star Trek, Voyager having to raise the warp nacelles up so that it can blast in the warp. No, I just want to be able to punch it, right? Just like if I'm getting shot at, I don't want to wait for my wings to get in position. I just want to be able to shoot. It's a single manned vessel, and it has space for an R2 unit, which again most of them do, obviously, right? But I just think that, and it's a beautiful looking vessel. Quick, maneuverable.
I think you have to make a very good case, because I've always liked the Jedi, the Interceptor. I think that the thing with the X-Wing though, you got to think of the S foils. It's more so like a turbo. You're not supposed to use that as the regular position. Like it's only supposed to be locked in that position for certain flight purposes. So it's not like you're not supposed to be in battle with them. You're not supposed to do regular flight with that. But the attack position is basically like that standard, the standard.
But if you watch everything that we've ever watched, right, in terms of Star Wars, anytime they're flying at all, it doesn't matter any kind of flying, right? They're in that lowered position. They're not raised, right? So if something just ambushes me out of the backside of an asteroid, right? If they Jango Fett me, I gotta wait for those things to raise up. Yeah, it's only a couple of seconds. It's not like we're talking about powering up the Death Star or anything like that. It's only a couple of seconds, but those are crucial seconds when you're in a dogfight. Every second counts, right? So, and if you get a good shot off on those wings and they're locked, like you disable the movement mechanism, you're toast. At least of what we know of lore, right? But
the X-Wings do have shields. Like they have the shields are supposed to be like the part that balances out. Like
yeah, and again, maybe because I'm a Star Trek nerd, I'm not flying around everywhere with my shields up. Right? I don't stay at yellow alert for funsies. That's a lot of power.
You got red alert, shields up.
Thank you. Right? But shields take power, so you're minimalizing your power. You're maximizing your power output.
I get it.
For no reason.
I get it. No, understandable. So I'm not going to disagree with the Jedi Interceptor that the Anakin, because I always, again, great ship, great looking ship, versatile. It sucks that I'm the only one that has any inkling of High Republic, because the Jedi use a ship there called the Jedi Vector, which is a ship that enables them to use the Force through those vectors.
And they can turn on here.
So yeah, I think I'm not saying that the Jedi Vector is the best ship ever, but when I read that the vectors and like the Jedi can use the vectors to use the Force, and they're as maneuverable and agile as, I think they said that, like it's more agile than an A-wing or something, because they're so light and they're so fast. I was really very intrigued with the Jedi Vector. I thought those
so. And I just looked at the Jedi Vector on my phone. I guess my rebuttal to that is there's nothing stopping them from using the Force. I don't need a ship that is a lightning rod for the Force per se.
You have to read the books. You have to
But
there's
so
ways
but I'm
to use
gonna
it.
reference something that's not the books. I'm gonna reference Plo Koon in Clone Wars, right? When he's able to turn the pod around, right? I'll reference Anakin. No, it's Mace. It might be Mace, Plo, and Obi-Wan, right? Blocking the blast at the medical facility in Clone Wars. So they've proven to me that they don't need a weaponized something to stick their hand. And again, I don't know how it's designed, right? So I'm ignorant
You can
here.
say it. I mean,
Stick my hand in a
as the
gun.
way he's explaining it is like, I forget. I don't know if it's Power Ranger. I don't think it is, but it could be Voltron, where you stick your hand in that bitch, and then all of a sudden you get a big ass lightsaber sticking out the side of the damn.
Yeah, right. Like exactly.
They do that
Like,
in Power Rangers a little bit in certain
This
scenes.
isn't like
They do, yeah,
all right,
yeah.
Ninja, locked and drop, right? We're not doing any of that shit.
Did you just Ninja Storm that?
Yes, I did. I'm a Power Ranger historian.
Same.
Awesome.
Oh, look, common ground.
Common ground.
For about an hour.
We're on a show about Star Wars. We had to have common ground.
Yes.
That's
But-
true.
So
Okay.
I guess that's where, like, yeah, okay, maybe during the High Republic and everything like that, it was a powerful shift. But the Jedi's use of the Force has come so far from then with evolution that it wouldn't hold up in.
No, that's what I was trying to say. I'm not saying it's the best ship. I'm saying for the back at that time period, the High Republic, what they were able to do with it back then and how it's portrayed, it's very intriguing because like I would love to have seen it like actually in action, like in either an animated show or a live action show or movie, like just to see how it was used. Again, it's just something that I always, when I first heard of it, reading the novel, I was like, oh, this is a very interesting ship because it's supposed to be super lightweight, super fast, maneuverable. Like it's more like catch me if you can kind of ship. You know what I mean? So
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I mean, as with most things, as the interceptor that you referenced, Andy, the Jedi interceptor, the Imperial improved on that and they made the TIE Scepter. I mean, come on, brother. The TIE Interceptor, come on, brother. But even with that being said, I don't even know the name of the bitch because I ain't look it up. That Mando ship ain't no joke, bitch. I don't know
Razor
what the
Crest?
name of the ship. I don't Mando's Din Djarin ship. I don't know what it's called.
The first one or the second one?
The one he had in this season, bitch.
Oh, the N1?
Yep.
That's an old Nabooian starfighter that they modified.
Listen, he was fucking TIE interceptors up left and right, bitch. They couldn't hit them corners, bitch. And then when you got a Mandalorian flying it, it's just different. I mean, like Chuck said, the vector's cool because you could the way they had to use it with the Force. And the one that Anakin used in Clone Wars, I like that one too. Episode 3, the TIE ones too. But see, the thing with the TIE ones is they don't. It's speed and agility. They have no defense at all.
No, sir.
You're completely exposed. You're in a circle with wings, bitch. That's about it.
And you
But
blast.
if you know how to use it, I say it's probably one of the best. I like the way it looks and how the pictures translate to actual functionality from animated and also live action. When you have the wings lift off, they can change directions. All that other, it's crazy.
It's very, but I don't think it's necessarily a play off of the Jedi interceptors.
No, you know how they just steal things.
It's a play. If anything, it's a play off of the Mandalorian, the ship that Bo-Katan uses.
Yeah.
Right. And that, don't get me wrong, that's a beautiful vessel from a like a mass not casualty transport ship, right? Because it's able to drop the Mandalorians in, get out quick.
Yep.
You know, and so I think the TIE Interceptor is close to that. And again, I was a big fan of the gunships in Clone Wars. The gunships and the ones that they had as they weren't just gunships that would drop off the tanks, but the ones that would drop off like the troopers. I love those. The LAATs, I think is what they were. Right?
I believe so.
Yeah, the ones that come down, swooping down in Geonosis in the movie. Those ones. with the ray guns, beautiful ship,
Yeah.
right? But when I think of the best ship, it's got to be the Jedi Interceptor. Just from an all-around functionality and use, and the tie's good, the vector's great, but the Force has come a long way, so it's almost obsolete. So
I like the shadows of the Empire ship.
But you know that you guys do know that there are TIE fighters that do have shields.
Yes.
Yeah. The TIE Defender, I think the Avenger and the Phantom, they all have shields. So yeah, those were, you want to talk about like badass looking TIE fighters. The TIE Defenders and TIE Phantoms and the Avengers are, those are badass ships. They look insanely cool.
I think the TIE Defender is just a lot.
It is, because it has like the three panels. It's a lot, but it's. I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna lie. That's intimidating. I think the TIE Avenger looks the best. Avenger and the Phantom. I think those are, but the Avenger looks more balanced. Because it's on each side. But like, yeah, because the TIE Avenger looks like a TIE Interceptor. And sleeker. So they have I mean, for the Empire and for all their mass production with the TIE fighters and everything like that, when they took their time and made specialized ships like those, they were powerful starfighters. They were incredibly powerful.
Anybody want to make a case for anything else?
I make a case for you to do a Power Rangers version of this show.
I'm down.
I could do 4 hours. I could do 4 hours.
Pete would be in there. You'd be in there.
Okay.
And
I would be here just watching.
Hey,
I could do each season.
That can be our July show.
No, I stopped my last season. I stopped with Turbo. Turbo was my.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Chuck,
no,
you just stay at home. You just stay at home.
I went all the way. I have to watch.
I think Samurai is the last full one I watched.
I have to watch Beast Morphers, and I haven't watched any of Dino, this newer Dino one. After Dino Charge and Dino Supercharge, I stopped. That's the last full one I've watched. I've seen them all, some regrettably.
Yeah, we can go season for season.
So yeah, we can definitely do that in July. So I want to take this opportunity because I feel like we've kind of covered all bases Star Wars of what we wanted to talk about tonight. Chucks, if you'll permit, I want to take this, maybe call it 10 minutes or so. Pete, I want to ask you, because you really don't get an opportunity to bring it up on the channel anymore. On a live perspective, thoughts on the WWE draft?
I'm sure it's going to go great.
It's already happened, by the way, PY. That's why he's asking me.
It happened the same weekend as the NFL draft.
Which was very smart.
Very smart.
Did they make Roman champion for the next 10 years?
Don't. I mean, it's good, but it's. I feel like it's very in line with what Butter said with Kylo Ren. Definitely a missed opportunity. And then and to couple that with what we saw on Tuesday, which I still watch NXT.
Sorry to hear that.
The first 5 minutes, and then you see everybody else who got drafted to go everywhere else. And I'm like, fuck are we doing?
And the tag titles don't get vacated.
What are we? So this is, you kind of know what's happening. Is it's one of those things. What I've seen with Tripp so far up to this point is you always have questions when it happens, and then it takes like 2-3 weeks, maybe a month later, for everything to make sense to tie it together. So the brand split is coming back, where SmackDown is going to be the WWE title, tag titles, US title. I still think we were talking about it in our chat and Facebook. I still think Roman's going to bitch him wants a new title. I don't understand why that's so wrong. Those title designs are outdated in my opinion anyway. When you introduce a brand new title on Raw and everything on the Raw titles, once again, is going to be world title, world heavyweight title, world tag team titles. So when you have that,
we're back to like 2004, 2003 Ruthless Aggression era.
Right, which was a fucking good era.
Heavyweight champion.
Yeah, it's a good era. WrestleMania 21, 2005.
Yep.
Sign me up for that.
Absolutely.
Sign me up for that. You know what I mean? So it's I don't know what they're doing. What they're doing with Breaker still in NXT doesn't make sense to me. That would have been a call up, but SmackDown definitely got stronger, but Raw has more potential just because once again you haven't seen it. Biggest missed opportunity in my opinion right now, and this has nothing to do with it's kind of the draft. One of the biggest hits for Raw, the biggest get for Raw for me is Imperium, hands down.
Absolutely. So Pete, I want to invite you on the 13th to come on in this very ring because we're not going to be able to do it this week to talk about Backlash, do a Backlash live reaction. So I invite you on the 13th next Saturday to come on with us, talk draft, talk Backlash, talk everything. Chux, Pete, I want to give you guys also an opportunity before it just becomes old news, right? Weigh in very quickly, and Chux, I swear to God, very quickly, on your thoughts on the Eagles draft, how they did. Are you happy with their picks? Would you wanted them to pick somebody else? What's it?
PY, you go first.
I'm as giddy as a schoolgirl. Life is great. It's wonderful. Georgia everywhere. All my Twitter for the last 2 weeks has been Jalen Carter no matter what. And I had everyone and their mothers getting ready to strangle me on Twitter because I didn't want to draft an offensive lineman. Well, this is just what they do. They just draft offensive linemen. That's what they're going to do. I don't know why you think they're going to draft Jalen Carter or Nolan Smith. And then I got him at 10 and 30, and then Mr. Boring and no personality, Peter Skoronski, went to Tennessee.
All right, Chux.
I loved it. Yeah.
I really thought that I was like really.
Dude, there's
a long one.
this. Andy. So this is if every match at WrestleMania was booked the way we wanted to be booked.
Yep.
Oh, so everybody's happy with Howie. Everybody's happy with.
That's
Oh yeah. I got one of the players that I really wanted the Eagles to draft. He was he was one of the picks.
number 43.
Yep, I can't complain. And
right.
all the other picks that they did take were awesome picks. Even though I didn't like mock them to the Eagles, they were awesome picks.
Good.
Yep.
No complaints.
Okay, so let's give a little rundown. We're going to start within this very ring first. Kind of, we do this at the end of all our shows. A little rundown of what's coming up. Then I can throw it to you guys. Kind of figure out what you guys are doing. So no show this weekend. My lock-in is planned at the same time Backlash starts. I can't start both events at the same time. So the 13th, we will be back with a recap of Backlash, a recap of the draft, and everything leading up to it. You know, we're getting ready for Night of Champions on the 27th. The 20th will be a Night of Champions and an all-in preview show. We're going to do both because Night of Champions is the 27th. All-in is the 28th. We have Comic Palooza that weekend. So we are going to be downtown. We don't know if we're going to do a show on the 27th. We're going to try. But that's going to take us through May. And then June, as of right now, I don't see any reason why we wouldn't be on the air at all in June. And just we don't have schedules for anything going on there. Chux, what's the next couple weeks of Birds of a Feather looking like for you guys?
This is news to me, by the way. Whatever he's about to say is the first time I'm hearing it. So
And it's something that I just thought of actually earlier today. I'm like, what are we gonna do with Birds of a Feather? Like,
sorry to put you on the spot.
It's that time of the year. No, it's fine. Because like I said, I was thinking about it earlier today. Okay, so we're going to cover some draft stuff. We're going to look at the offseason as a whole. So next few weeks is just going to be more of like review of everything they've done, and then one of our favorite time killers of the season is when we get into positional rankings. So we'll go each week and rank each position: quarterback, running back, wide receiver, some defensive players, and then if we have like some fun ideas just to blow off time, we'll do that. But yeah, just simple, same thing every year around this time is just trying to find stuff to talk about.
All right, so guys, this was a ton of fun. I love when we get to do this. We were blessed this year that it was on Thursday. Next year, it is actually on Saturday in our time slot. So we'll get to do this again next year. Stay tuned, though. There's a very good chance that we're still going to do another fandom episode in the summertime because it seems to track that we always do one in the summer, and I don't know if my summer would be complete without that.
We need to do a comic book one. We need to do a comic book one, like either with DC and Marvel or one or the other. Like this,
yeah.
There's no way we've gone too long without.
We've never done Batman. We've never done Power Rangers. We've never done the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We've got a lot to tap into. But guys, make sure you stay tuned here. Each and every Thursday night, you'll get to see these three chuckleheads and the mute Jake Friel. They're going to be on Birds of a Feather every night at 8:30. God, I hope he goes back and watches it. 8:30 for us. 9:30 Eastern time. Butters and I are every Saturday night, 10:30 Eastern time within this very ring. There is a lot coming down the pipeline, guys, over the next few weeks. It's going to be super exciting between all the shows. We'll talk. Between all the shows and everything that's going on in the back end, and you guys will find out soon enough as well. But we want to thank Alan Z Travel for sponsoring tonight's broadcast. Alan Z Travel, specializing in creating a vacation of your dreams at Disney, Universal, or wherever your heart calls you. Let their talented team of travel experts, including myself, including Mr. Chux over there, create a custom vacation for you without any of the stress. AlanZ on over to alanz-travel.com/take the trip. We'll start planning your next magical vacation as early as tonight. Also, make sure you guys are following AlanZ Travel over on their YouTube page. We did a killer game show last night for our 1-year anniversary. For some dumb reason, we had Frank on there, and we let him have full control of the questions.
Why?
And it was pure chaos, but it was the funniest hour I think I've done in a long time. We also want to thank Baggio's Bread for excuse me, for sponsoring our topic of conversation tonight, which was the Mandalorian Season 3 was the best of the series so far. Baggio's Bread is located in Mount Laurel, New Jersey, home of the best stuffed breads, tomato pie sandwiches, cutlets, and meatballs. You mentioned A2D Radio in-store purchases, you'll get 10% off. So make sure you guys check them out. But until next time, guys, may the 4th be with you. Tell somebody you love them. Peace, love, and joy. We are out of here.